welcome back, Dr. Drummer. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're covering the rudiments. We just finished in episode 15 with the diddles, the diddle boys as I were calling it. And we're going to start with the rolls. And there are a variety of rolls, and we will take a look at examining all three types of rolls. Essentially, there's an open roll, a closed roll, and a single stroke roll. There are variations of each of these. If hands are going to pop up, what about the triple roll? What about this roll? We'll get to that. But essentially, we have controlled rebound rolls, what we used to call the open roll. And then we have the closed roll, the concert roll, the buzz roll, the press roll, the multiple bounce roll. There's a lot of names for it, but it is the roll that you should start with. Single stroke rolls seem to be the way to start, but on snare drum we don't use the single stroke roll very much at all as a roll unless you have chops like Buddy Rich or Billy Cobham. There's no reason to use single stroke rolls on a snare drum much to sustain the sound because it's still a lot of little notes put together. So we're going to start with the multiple bounce roll. I believe that's what PAS calls it. We use this in concert style playing, and here's what happens. We're going to start with both hands up about, 6 inches above the head, and I'm just going to drop it and let it go. You'll notice that I am not doing this because a lot of people start that way with little ones, and it's wrong. You do not let your fingers go at the point when you need them the most. Your pivot point is going to be the thumb and the index finger. That's your teeter-totter, that's your seesaw. Okay? This back here is the motor. So if I press lightly, I can control how many times it's going to bounce. In this particular type of roll, I don't want a lot of pressure back here because the more pressure I put, the shorter it goes. So if I squeeze hard, and I'm not even changing the colors of my fingernails, I'm just pressing it down into the head, that gets less bounces. We want it to have a lot of bounces. Now, the hard thing about teaching this, and for people learning it to conceive, is to get a very good roll in a closed roll or concert roll or multiple bounce roll, you must overlap the attacks. Watch what I mean here. I'm going to start with my right hand, and before it's done bouncing, I'm going to put my left hand down. Not right away. We're not doing this. It's not a flam. But right before it stops, this one's going to go down to connect the two. Now, I realize at this point, there's nothing here that resembles a roll. Allow me to demonstrate the magic as we speed this up. Very slowly speeding it up. Always overlapping. In other words, I'm not trading places. I'm not going to go, I'll put my right hand, not my left hand, my right hand. Trading places in a multiple bounce or closed roll makes spaces in your roll. You don't need air pockets in the roll. It's a terrible roll. You want this to be a constant buzz. Softer, I just lower the sticks. You might have to speed up your roll a little bit so you don't hear the beats. As you get louder, you alternate a little faster. But watch this. This is a mezzo forte. Remember, I'm playing on a pad. If this was on a drum, you'd hear nothing but a constant buzz. The snares really help you out here. The best way to work this is on a pad because the pad doesn't help you out at all. I'm going to take the buzz out. So the faster I'm moving my hands. I'm not going until my eyeballs fall out. softer. That's all the faster I'm moving my hand. As you get louder, you're going to have a little more pressure in the back and in the thumb and the index finger to get the sticks to press into the head deeper. Or if you don't, it'll do this. You don't want that. You want it to be constant. You're trying to equalize the sound across the length of the roll. So this has to start very slowly. And until you can get to this point, or if you're teaching somebody, 4th grade or adult, until you can see that they're overlapping the sticks, one starts before the other ends, you're never going to get this right. Because if you do this, there's going to be spaces all over the place, not going to be desirable. If you go to contest with that type of roll, not good. So this is the multiple bounce roll. I'm trying to get the same number of bounces from both hands. I'm not counting them. You can't count them. I just know that if I'm not doing this. And you notice also I'm not bringing up my hands very high at all. Maybe 4 or 5 inches. So this won't take as long as you think. You spend about 10 minutes a day just doing this. And don't go any faster until you know that you're still overlapping. And then maybe the next day, go there. 10, no more than 15 minutes. If you work on it and you're very serious about listening to how even the hands are, it will turn out to be a really nice, even roll as you develop this further. And you want to practice that at various dynamics as well, not just loud. It's hard to play soft, very hard to play soft. It's very hard to play really loud. It's easier to play here. Here, a little bit harder. Again, without the confines of a snare drum, the snare drum really makes this roll sound 5 times better than what it sounds like on a pad. All right, that's all we're going to do for now. There's too many things to accomplish in rolls in one episode. So we're going to do the double bounce, the open roll, the controlled rebound roll. We'll do the double and the triple roll next time, and then the single roll, which is the primary roll that's used on keyboard percussion. Actually, with 2 mallets, it is the only roll that's used on keyboard percussion, and it is the only roll that's used on timpani, is the single stroke. So I don't want to put that in the background just because we're not starting with it. But for purposes of snare drum, and you want to sustain a sound, that's going to be much more sustaining than fast back and forth. Okay? So that's it for now. We'll see you in the next episode. Dr. Drummer, see ya.